Welcome to another day in the Matrix, waters above crypto. I am sending you all love and high vibrations to start your week. Hope you all had an incredible weekend. This crypto market has really been testing investors lately since the recent pullback. And as we transitioned into Sagittarius today, I have a Gematria decode to share with some important dates coming up that could give us some clarity as to what's happening in the crypto market and what we could expect over the next week for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and of course the altcoins as a whole. And also, due to high demand, I decided to run a Black Friday sale for both of my courses, so I'll share all the details for my early Black Friday sale in a moment. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow this community. And as you heard earlier, I'm currently running a Black Friday sale for both of my courses, the Mastermind course and the Advanced Trading course. So for those of you that want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, there is a link in the description box of this video and in the pinned comment below to my website, which is watersabovecrypto.com/Black Friday, and that will take you to this page. The link already has the discount automatically added to the price, so there's no promo code needed at checkout, and you'll be able to just use this link and get my courses with the Black Friday discount. So with that being said, let's take the red pill. Going to get into some date numerology as we've been in our videos lately, because it's been so important to look at how all these numbers come back and solidify a lot of the reasoning as to why we're getting the price action we're getting in this market. Of course, today being a special date because it's 11/22. So 11 master number, the two towers, the restart, new beginnings, kind of like how the Bible starts with Genesis 1:1. That's the 11, and 22 being the change or reset. It is the master builder number. So it's all about the creation, architecture, etc. And these two numbers in harmony giving us a very important number, of course, 11 and 22, the 33, transmutation. So there's a lot to say about these numbers, but more importantly, let's just get into the date numerology and see what we have ahead of us. So tomorrow is important because it is the 77 days between Rosh Hashanah. And this big change of energy we saw happen in the market around September 9th, we saw a big pullback come in, and it was the start of Shemitah. Shemitah being the 7-year cycle, the sabbatical year. And there's so much that I've been saying about this lately, so I don't want to harp on it too much. But the fact that it's all coming back to sevens is so powerful again. Shemitah started on the 7th day of September, which is actually the 7th month in the year. And tomorrow will be 77 days between this date. So that's very powerful to remember, because who is this practiced by? This is practiced in Judaism with the 77. It's all coded into here, guys. Okay? Another thing that's important is yesterday was actually 7 days before the start of Hanukkah. So for those of you that are unaware, we can you could just quickly go to this page on Wikipedia and learn a little bit more about it. Festival of Lights. It's pretty interesting stuff, but every big religion has holidays around this transition through December, and I'm sure anyone out there that studies the occult knows why. So What's most important here about Hanukkah is just want to focus on these 77s, and I could show you a little bit more into how this code works. So with Hanukkah, we're getting the 27 in Chaldean, and the way that we could perceive this number is not only just by itself or when it's reduced to 9, but think of 27 as 2 sevens, 77. And this 27 number is very big. It comes back to a ton of things in my work, but this 77 number, or 27, is coming back to Jupiter, the apostle, Jupiter, okay? And this is, again, all about Judaism, all right? So this is really important to consider here because we have this transition and Hanukkah giving us that 27, which is tying back to Jupiter as well. And another thing that I found was really interesting is the day this starts is right here. It says 25 Kislev, and excuse my pronunciation, I do not know how to speak Hebrew. I'm doing my best. But this, of course, also giving us the 27 in the Chaldean, the day that Hanukkah starts. So it's amazing to see how all these numbers come into play. So another thing that I was thinking about is how Hanukkah is observed for 8 days. And of course, 8 days gives us the 27 in Chaldean. It just keeps coming up over and over again, right? And this upcoming date that we have on the 25th, I'm considering because it gives us the 77 date numerology. I believe I brought this up in my prior videos as well. So 11 plus 25 plus 20 plus 21 giving us 77. And of course, this is just 3 days shy of the start of Hanukkah. And you can also see that this leaves 36 days left in the year, and that 36 number comes back to Bitcoin, all right, with the 36. And it also came back to Jupiter in the same exact cipher. So if you look right here in full reduction, you're going to see Jupiter gives us that 36 as well. And why is this so important? Because this day is a Thursday. And Thursday is Thor's day, or the day of Jupiter. So we should have a lot of clarity in the market by this day in particular, the 25th. We should have a little bit more understanding as to what's going on by that day. So there's a huge connection here, but let's get into Hanukkah itself. So when we go to the 28th day, which is the first official day of Hanukkah, according to this right here, Hanukkah 2021. And also this will be in the Hebrew year of 5782. And just really quickly, 5782 comes back to 22, the master builder. All about change, okay? Change, 22. Reset, 22, okay? So this is very important that we consider all of this because, of course, every bull run is ending in this January or this December timeframe for Bitcoin. So we're in that transition point right now. And if you remember the 2013 bull run, it actually hit its first high, topped out on the 30th of November, and then it went back up again around the 3rd or 4th of December, pretty much double topped, and then it ended. And then in 2017, the bull run ended on the 17th of December. So we are basically mimicking these 4-year cycles, and so far I don't see this one being any different, but we'll just have to wait and see, of course. So this day of Hanukkah, the 28th, is really amazing because it leaves 33 days left in the year. Okay, this 33 number's definitely been brought up quite a bit in my work. It's all about transmutation, this turning ice back into water, the 33rd degree, the day, the age that Jesus died at, resurrection, etc. There's a lot to be said about this, but anyways, this day that we're getting, leaving 33 days in the year, is incredible because you're going to see something really important here. The second day of Hanukkah is the 333rd day of the year, right? And both date numerologies are mirroring each other. You have the 81, and then you have standard date numerology giving us the 18. The 18 is very important in Judaism. I've brought this up in several videos, how 1 is the connection to source in Hebrew, and 8 is the infinity or the torus field, infinite connection to source, the 18. And that's why in Judaism, they're giving out gifts in increments of 18 with money, etc. So anyone who's Jewish, practices Judaism, you know what I'm talking about. Now, here's the even bigger connection. Not only is this second day of Hanukkah, remember what I was saying, we are in the Hebrew year of 5782, which reduces down to 22, and the second day of Hanukkah is giving us the 333rd day of the year, but this is what's the craziest part of it. It is exactly 2 months and 22 days since Rosh Hashanah, since the start of Shemitah, 222. This day is critical. I have a very big feeling about this day in particular, so write this one down. I try not to get super specific with my work, but this is a crazy connection. Exactly 2 months and 22 days between the Shemitah, which the Shemitah starts the 5782 year in Hebrew, which gets reduced down to 22, and it happens to be on the 333rd day of the year, with the day before the actual start of Hanukkah being the 33rd day, 33 days left in the year. Massive. Absolutely insane connection. So, a couple other things to consider is this day right here of the 29th, where it gives us 333rd day of the year. It is a Monday. And why this is important is because the date numerology of Shemitah, of the start of Shemitah, or the day of Rosh Hashanah in 2021, gives us the 57 date numerology and also the 21 date numerology in standard numerology before reduction, of course. And where we get that is moon, 5721. I'll show you again, 5721. Okay. Now, any day that, well, in short, Monday is Moon Day, the day of the moon. So this day will be on a Monday, and that's another thing that adds more weight to what's going on here. And like I said a little bit earlier, in 2013, Bitcoin on the 29th into 30th of November in 2013, it hit its first, it topped out basically. And you could go back and look at the charts to prove that to yourself. So it's amazing. It's amazing how all these dates are coming into play. And I actually made a video yesterday for my mastermind community on Patreon. It was one of my Red Pill episodes, and I was breaking down how in 2017 there was also connections between the Rosh Hashanah date, which changes every year, by the way. It's never the same day every year. But when we take Rosh Hashanah of 2017 and compare it to the Bitcoin all-time high of 2017, it was the exact same connections that we are making between the start of Rosh Hashanah this year and December 4th, which is the new moon of December. Again, Bitcoin hit a all-time high in 2017 on the December new moon, and then it hit the all-time high in 2013 on the December new moon. It's not anyone's opinion. It's just what happens. So a couple things to consider here, but I believe that the 29th is a crucial date, and we'll stop there for our decode and move into the analysis. The next 2 weeks are going to be wild. Wild. Let's get into the TA. So first things first, we did have a bi-weekly close, so I'm going to go over here to the 2-week candles. I'm going to bring it down to... This shows you how freestyled I am. I don't even really prepare my videos. Just jump into the charts. So here we are with the bi-weekly candles. We have a decent bi-weekly close. We can see it was right here sitting around somewhere $58,663. It was essentially within the resistance levels of most of the bi-weekly candles going back to March through the bigger dump in May. And it's pretty bad looking, but these sorts of candles come in before reversals. So we've been seeing that happens quite a bit with Bitcoin, where it makes a low before a reversal. The same thing with a high before a reversal. It's all about shaking out or catching bulls in longs or catching bears in shorts. So ultimately, the biweekly close being above the golden pocket, the 786, is not awful. Now, one thing I can also say, and I was paying attention to this last night, as we were approaching the weekly close, the CME opened, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and they instantaneously started shorting the market. And all of last night, they were basically shorting. So this is pretty interesting how this has been going lately. And I'm going to actually go into the 4-hour candles in most of my analysis today for Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you just how manipulated this really is. So on the weekly close, we actually did close a weekly below the 8 simple moving average. But remember, like, I'm one of the few analysts that's using this 8 simple moving average, and I mostly like to use it on daily and shorter time frames. I've kind of exposed this thing called a wolf cross, which is the 8 simple moving average crossing the 55 simple moving average. And when you're using a weekly chart or higher, it takes a very long time for these lagging indicators to play out. So most people, when they're on a weekly chart, bi-weekly, monthly, etc., they would be using like a 10 simple moving average. So although we did close below the 8, it's not the most alarming thing ever, because the MACD on the weekly is still okay. And we're above 50 on the RSI for the weekly as well. So just something to keep in mind for those of you that use the 8 simple moving average. And of course, we got that closure below it. But honestly, we were trading above it for like 95% of the weekend until the very last 5% when CME, Forex, and the Dow Jones opened, and it just wiped out all of that. So it's very manipulated. It's very manipulated at this time. And, you know, another funny thing is today, since the stock market is open, the DXY, the dollar index, is up quite a bit. And some people have reached out to me and they're like, oh, it's because the Fed Chair Powell was reelected. And it's like, but the Dow Jones is up 200 points. And the S&P and NASDAQ are pretty much at all-time highs. So how is that? It doesn't make sense, is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is all ritual at this point, everyone. It's all ritual. So for those of you that are aware, when the DXY is green, stock market should be red. When the DXY is red, stock market is typically green. I shouldn't have used the word should. because that's not necessarily how this goes. But my point that I'm trying to make is they're counter each other. All right. So this is pretty hilarious that we're seeing this pump, and they're saying it's because of the Fed. And this happens quite a bit. When the Fed speaks, we do see a pump or a quick, sharp rejection on the DXY, but it doesn't necessarily correlate 100% to what's going on in the markets as a whole. I do see that what's been going on lately, it's just a side note, something to keep in mind. When the dollar is pumping and the stock market is doing pretty good on a day that crypto is doing bad, typically the following day looks like a recovery. So it would be interesting to see how tomorrow goes, because the more they shake out this market, the easier it is for them to buy it back up, because they have less unsophisticated players bogging down this market. Right now, what I believe is we are at a stage of the bull run where essentially the most scared players in the game already left a while ago. This shakeout that we just got here was another one that was pretty brutal, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. If you study the 2013 cycle and the 2017 cycle, Bitcoin around November timeframe, right before the end, it had like a 30 to 40% pullback across both bull runs, and then it was instantaneously bought back. Now, am I saying it's going to be the same thing this time? No, of course. No one knows with certainty what's to come. But it's just funny how they do this to people. They essentially wipe you out. They wash out the unsophisticated player in the game before continuation. And that's what's amazing about using a Wyckoff method, is Wyckoff was considering volume or supply leaving and entering the market and the amount of effort it took for the supply to leave or enter the market in correlation to price action. And if that confuses you, what I just said, it's a little bit more complicated to consider, because most people, when they're looking at volume, they're not really aware of how to apply that how to apply it or have utility behind volume. But what we're seeing right now is essentially basic standard volume. We're not seeing anything off the charts like we typically see during a major correction or an end of a bull run. So it's just something to keep in mind for those of you that want to know a little bit more about volume or about the supply indicator. It should be just called supply indicator instead of volume. So let's move on from there. I want to get into the 4 hour, and then we'll quickly run through ETH and XRP. Okay, so what we're seeing here, if you want to just get a quick rundown of how I'm feeling, this is the 786 fib, the top of the golden pocket, and we haven't even actually back tested the 888 fib since we got rejected off of it. Basically, maybe a full day worth of 2 days worth of candles getting rejected on the 888. And then we had a larger consolidation. Now, since we've come back down to this over the last night, and then this big green candle came out of nowhere, like, let's just show you how instant this could all get bought up. This was almost $3,000 to the upside in, I believe it was like a 1 hour candle. This is crazy manipulation what they're doing right now. And to me, what looks like is happening is a W breakout. So anyone who's done my courses, you know what I'm talking about with this. It's a really classic breakout pattern for continuation, and the first V with the low and the second V of the W with a higher low, as you can see, and then we have our neckline right here. It's when we get above our neckline and then actually back test that is when we fulfill the measured move. And the measured move we could figure out through taking from the neckline down through the lows. And with crypto, you could actually go straight to the wick because it's that volatile. And you would go from the neckline on the back test, and it's bringing you somewhere around the $64,000 range, which makes total sense because it's essentially all of the trading range we were dealing with on the buying climax and supply test to the upside. So this is a shakeout, in my opinion, or some people might want to call it a bear trap. They're essentially bear trapping people in around the full moon, which is very normal. Every full moon, we typically end the full moon with a bear trap, and then we just have a straight line reversal in the opposite direction. So as quick as this shit fell down is the same way it could actually get bought up quicker than that. And it's just something to keep in mind for anyone out there who's getting a little shaken out right now, because I understand we're at a stage of the bull run. We're getting very close to the end of this month. And it's like, because it's in the final moments, it's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. A lot of people are wigging out. Just chill. It's fine. It's all going to be good. Be grateful. It's all good. There's another thing to consider here, which could be an inverse head and shoulders with a left shoulder, head, right shoulder formation. And we just opened up a new 4 hour candle right now while I was making this video. So this could be something else to keep in mind. Again, a measured move off of these down sloping necklines is a little bit harder to consider, but we could just throw it right there, assuming we do get our breakout maybe tomorrow. And we're looking at, again, a move into the 64s, and that's very normal. That would be where I would anticipate. Any 4-hour closes above 61K, and I think we're going to start to reverse. So I'll just leave it at that. You guys got two patterns, both on the 4-hour chart. Another thing to consider if you want to look at moving averages is we have this 34 exponential moving average, which is showing a clear resistance level. So if we get a 4-hour close above that 34, that would signal to me, okay, we're ready. We're starting to get ready. And then one last thing would be the wolf cross of this 8 simple moving average getting above this white simple moving average. So it's the 8 and the 55. Once that 8 crosses above the 55, I anticipate Bitcoin will start to reverse. It'll get to the 60s, mid 60s pretty quickly after that. That would be also in consideration of the inverse head and shoulders I shared with you and the W pattern. All things considered, it's looking all right. This is just the final shakeout. Now, the 12-hour MACD, again, that would be nice to have that flip bullish. We're looking okay on the 8-hour, and of course the daily. The daily is definitely, this is draining out, and this is exactly how they like to do it before the final pump in a bull run. Let's go back to the 2020 time, and we're just going to go to November. I'm going to show you what happened in November. So right here, this really messed people up. This little V shape right here. So we got back to prior all-time highs of the 2017 cycle, a full 3 years later, and then a sharp rejection to the downside with a V-shaped recovery, which took only a couple days. That was all around late November. And then, of course, we did have a sideways move, but then it followed by a pretty strong uptick. I'm not saying that we're going to have this exact structure, but I'm saying that this is very normal to get within prior all-time highs and then have a sharp pullback to essentially trap in players who think we're just going to continue to the upside. So that kind of stuff is what's very normal about Bitcoin. And of course, you know, on the lunar cycles, every bigger correction we're getting is around these full moons. And we just had a partial lunar eclipse the other day. It was the longest partial lunar eclipse since the year of 1440. Okay? 1440. And remember, we're in Sagittarius right now. 144. Okay? And this is all about this. Sorry to break it to everyone, but that's what this is about in the future, transhumanism. So anyways, I'm going to move on from that. As of right now, the downside target level would just be prior wicks. I don't know if Bitcoin will have the momentum to be pushed down to that low again, but this is really close, guys. We're at these final moments, and anything is possible. So holding the 786 on daily closes would be really nice. Also, another huge thing to take into consideration is this wolf cross, where it could be this is a downside pressure wolf cross, where if this 8 crosses below the 55, and we're on the daily chart right here, that's typically not a good thing. But we had a massive straight line breakout followed by a pretty nasty correction off of new all-time highs. This was a bull trap. So I was teaching this to the members of my community yesterday, how bull traps don't necessarily mean failures of the golden pocket. It could actually create a new higher high just for a moment and then followed by a sharp rejection. That is another form of a true bull trap. So that's why I like to consider this the buying climax and this a supply test to the upside, which we can call a bull trap. And if you wanted to look at this on a basis of a problem, it would be this. And I'll show you. Actually, I should go to another chart. I'll show you. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is very educational. Like, this is something that'll help a lot of people out. Perfect. Okay, so right here, I have a measure from the current all-time high down to the swing low. And this golden pocket, if we get up to there and don't make a new high followed by a new low in the structure, that's a dead cat bounce. And that would be a sign of potentially an end of a bull run. Okay, so I'm an analyst. I'm telling you everything that's possible. Do I think this is happening? 5 to 10% chance this is possible. Just because of prior cycles, where we're at right now, everything. Shemitah. So getting a higher high right now at this stage is very important because we broke the low in the structure over here. And typically, once we get a new high, this was just the shakeout to push massive amounts of liquidity into Bitcoin. Like, I'm talking about an extra $1 trillion worth of market cap within like a couple weeks. That's how quick this can go. And people think that's not possible, but go ahead and look at the 2013 bull run and look at the 2017 bull run. It doesn't necessarily matter about the amount of money, because in 2013, yes, we didn't have nearly as much market cap in Bitcoin, but what we need to remember is just in the year of 2020, they printed 33% of the entire money supply since the creation of the Federal Reserve, and they haven't stopped. So this is a totally different economy we're talking about, right? So just keep that in mind. These are some of the things that we could consider. So let's move into Ethereum. It's gonna be a longer video today, but it's important. So ETH is looking incredible. Let's go to the biweekly close really quickly. So the biweekly close, again, it was above the 888 fib. That's insane. There's nothing negative to say about that. On the weekly close, we closed above 888 and closed above the 8 simple moving average. Beautiful. So on the daily, this is looking all right. It's holding support now. This is really interesting how this is all shaking out, because it's all these coins are moving in harmony in the bigger alt caps. Now, this was interesting to me how it made it above all the moving averages, and then since CME opened, it got wiped out. And what I like about this is it's creating, again, a clear W breakout. I love these Ws. They're continuation patterns, and this is clean to me. So again, our neckline is sitting around here at 44,400, let's just say 444. And then we have first V, second V, any closures above this, followed by a 4-hour wolf cross where the 8 simple moving average gets above the 55. And then I anticipate this to swipe to the upside for new all-time highs pretty quickly. So daily chart's looking okay. All we need is a couple green candles, and we'll have this MACD flip bullish and the RSI on the daily above 55. Sorry, 50. It's at 46 right now. So this is okay. Nothing really to say here. That weekly close and bi-weekly close for ETH was very strong. Just back testing prior resistance. Let's go to XRP just quickly. Okay, XRP, same story. We can see that we did get a wolf cross with the 8 below the 55. That is not good looking, but we're at a stage in the bull run where, of course, this is very volatile, choppy, and XRP is pretty much doing everything I said it would be doing. It's just sideways. So at this time, the 200s are about to cross in a bullish posture where the 200 exponential moving average is about to get above the simple moving average. That's a very good cross to have. And I suspect, again, this will just hold structure with new higher lows. So for the most part, I think we're like within 48 hours of a reversal. Like, sincerely. If we keep going below 60K Bitcoin for like the next 3 days, that would be super weird. And I would suspect that we're going to just pop right up, or we're going to get a new type of bull run. So I'm super interested in how all this is going to go. This is like, it's so unique. It's so rare because we've never had a bull run during Shemitah. We've only been in one crypto bear market during Shemitah, and it was only Bitcoin. It wasn't Ethereum or all these other altcoins. And that was in 2014. That was when the 2014-2015 Asian market collapse happened, and that was huge. So for those of you that want to study Shemitah more, 2014-2015 was huge for Asia. And Asia, being the logistical powerhouse of our planet, tells you a big how it played a huge role in the future that we've had today. It was essentially just a reset for their markets, and the rest is history. So yeah, until we see XRP closing candles above 140, this is just sideways, and I suspect these 200s on the daily chart are going to hold us, and not really too much to say. I would just go back to the beginning of this video, take note of the dates, go put in your calendar Hanukkah and the dates around it and all the significance that we're having. It seems to me that the 28th into 29th of November is going to be huge. 333rd day of the year, 33 days left in the year. So many connections we made earlier in this video. So again, for anyone who wanted to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can use the link in the pinned comment below or the description box, and you will be able to get access to the course with a discount. Black Friday sale will most likely be live until the end of this month. So go ahead and check out my website. It'll give a full description of all the information that is in the courses. So for instance, if you wanted to learn a little bit more about my advanced trading course, when you press buy now, it's going to take you to a screen which actually shows you a full breakdown of everything that's in the course. So it'll have a description And then it will also have this section right here called Overview. You just got to hit the drop-down menu, and it's going to show you everything that is included in the course, kind of like a syllabus. So, yeah, go ahead, check that out if you're interested, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.